Hey guys, Drifter here, and today I've got an epic dream to share with you all. I'm going to call it You Only Live Twice. If you're unfamiliar with the Epic Dream series or what's going on, I highly recommend you click one of the links down there in the description and go back in time so that you're a little bit more up to date. But if you don't do that, the long and short of it is that I am a lucid dreamer to the extent that I'm aware of myself and in control of myself in the dreams. However, I don't control the dreams. I just wake up in a scenario and I play it all the way out, and I remember absolutely everything. As I said before, this dream is called You Only Live Twice. Gameplay is going to be Akimbo's in Black Ops 2, very aggressive but good, and I joined this game really down, but we're going to come back and win. This is a zombie-based dream. It starts off with me and a group of 4 other people after, we'll say, society has collapsed. There's not much left, not a lot of food. We're all hungry, we're all starving suburbanites that don't know how to farm or aren't particularly skilled or well armed enough to kill others for food, if you think about DayZ. But we're stuck in New York City trying to make the best of it, which is an absolute hellhole in a zombie apocalypse. So many people, so many zombies, so few places to go and scavenge that haven't been touched, when our little group gets the brilliant idea to go into the subway system. Why the subway system? Isn't it, dark and scary down there and filled with zombies who I may decide to call Zeds just because I kind of like that name better? Well, it is, but there's also places to get food. There might be street vendors, people hiding out down there that we could rob. The maintenance staff probably has useful tools and supplies, and maybe, just maybe, though it's one hell of a long shot, we can get one of those subway trains up running and get out of this godforsaken city. And you're probably wondering why I don't have quite so many details about the group that I'm with, and that's because I don't remember them very well. That's because it happens before the incident, which is coming very soon, and that's why it's called You Only Live Twice. But we move down to the entrance to the subway tunnel. It's completely black inside. There's a black iron gate that somebody has closed kind of to warn others to stay away, but we're hungry and we're desperate. We get out the bolt cutters, cut the gate, and drag the gate open slowly. It's heavy, it's grinding across the pavement, making a lot of noise that we don't like, so we have to run in really quickly, turn our flashlights on, and get to scavenging down the concrete stairs. Nothing into the subway tunnel, nothing. Looking around, and we know that this might not be one of the stops that's populated with food, or maybe what we need to do instead of going back out to the city where we just made some noise is to go in further, to take the maintenance tunnels, move in through, find something useful, maybe even a great hideaway underground where nobody thinks to look for people, and maybe where there won't be a whole lot of zombies except for the ones on the buses, which we, not subway, the trains, which we can clear out. Move down there, and one of the first things we decide to do is to scavenge a train. There might have been people on board, there might be people holding up. It'd be a great place to look for some less than common food. We're not looking to find fresh groceries down there, but we'll find some candy bars, some soda, some bottled water, something. And one member of our group gets to crowbar and starts prying on the train. We can't see anything inside because it's blacked out, just can't see a dadgum thing. We don't hear anything. He keeps prying and prying and prying with the crowbar, creaking it on open, and then finally it pops, and the the hydraulics just sling the door wide open, shine the flashlight in, and what does he see but 20 plus eyes looking at him? Not human eyes, cold, lifeless, stale eyes with white retinas, and they just get up and start moaning and groaning and heading that way. These are, I wouldn't describe them as slow zombies or fast zombies. Pretty medium. They can walk at a good speed, good reach, good grab, good strength, but they're not going to be sprinting like 28 weeks later. This is very bad. There's 4 of us and 20 of them, so what we decide to do is what any logical person would decide to do when faced with an overwhelming odd. That's back into a tiny area, force them to come at you like the hot gates of Sparta, where their numbers mean nothing and they have to fight you just a couple at a time. So we run backwards toward the service area, toward past the little sign that says employees only, which in the maintenance area is somewhere we wanted to check anyway. We head back, get ready to defend ourselves, and as we walk past the maintenance room door, you hear creak, and then you look over to see the door being pushed open by one Zed, who immediately, and then, oh my god, there's another 20, and they just burst out. Why are there so many of them in the maintenance room? I don't even know, but they're there and they're everywhere, and we gotta keep booking. We pull back past the maintenance room, and there's a service tunnel dead ahead. We're gonna take the service tunnel, open the door, and start running through. It's a long, dark, dusty tunnel. Flashlights here, lots of dust, like kind of, I almost wanted to say old people dust, the kind that you smell at the nursing home, that just because it hasn't changed in a while, but it's even older than that. It's perhaps the kind you would get in an old barn or some rustic piece, warehouse or something that hasn't been used in too long. Little traces of oil and here and there, and human sweat that once helped build the place. We push on through and we can hear them coming behind us, just footsteps, groaning, crunching, mumbling, stumbling over each other, and we get to the very back end, and there's another door we have to open to exit the service tunnel. open the door, and oh my god, there's 100. They don't see us. Slam the door, and then we hear some pounding on the other side of the door, some grinding, and we realize that this tiny door isn't going to hold up against the 100+ zombies on the other side. So like any logical person, we grab every single useful thing around and bar the door shut, ran forward to the maintenance tunnel, towards some of the things, grabbed some random objects and furniture, and really barred that door shut. And the plan was pretty simple. We're trapped, we got zombies on both sides, we're going to bar one door shut, pray to God that it holds, and we're going to kill off the entire horde coming at us of 40+. We tried, but we didn't have guns. It just wasn't panning out. There was too many, too short, and the plan of forcing them all at you so that their numbers mean nothing wasn't maybe the best of plans, because there wasn't enough room for us to swing our items around indoors, or for whatever reason it just didn't pan out. Today was not our day. I remember watching my friends scream and looking over and seeing them being swarmed, and I managed to push ahead, but as pushing ahead through the zombies, I quit killing them. I wasn't fighting in them, I was just trying to escape. One managed to reach out and bite me right square on the right side of my neck and take out a hunk of meat the size of which I've never seen and never thought could come off my body. The pain actually wasn't as bad as you would think it would be. What really scared me was when I felt this wet kind of sensation, this warm water flowing over me, and then I realized that was my own blood, and I've only got a limited amount of that. Instead of fighting the horde of what was probably now 35 to 30 ahead of me, I just ran past them, punching, swinging wildly, tripping, rolling, stumbling, getting more bites here and there, but not letting them grab me. And I managed to run all the way back to the other side, get inside the maintenance room where there was originally 20, and slam the door and lay there against the wall, hearing them pound on the wall, pound on the door, and know that there's just nothing that I can do about it. All I've got is a baseball bat. There's too many of them. All my friends are dead. And I realize when my pants start beginning to get wet that I'm sitting in a pile of my own blood, and this isn't going very good. This is definitely where I am going to die today. There's no future for me. No, meeting the right person, moving to a private island, and living in peace and happiness. Definitely no food at the end of this subway train. Not Subway, the fast food chain for that matter. No Jared's today, nothing but sadness, and you're gonna die alone in this dank, smelly subway. And I start to get tired and short of breath, and it's really sinking in how bad this is going to be. And I remember looking forward at the door, and it seemed like time stretched forward for an eternity. Just kept on stretching. Things got blacker and blacker, and eventually I was looking at nothing, and I was just sitting there in a sea of blackness, and I began to fall backwards, tumbling over myself, then spiraling sideways, endlessly into the blackness, and then absolutely nothing. And you would say nothing like you wouldn't remember it, nothing like a time that just kind of comes and goes, like you wake up not realizing you fell asleep, yet somehow this nothing had a timelessness to it, a very, very long time. And eventually, some long time later, I had the reverse kind of process. I remember being able to see and vaguely hear the door was open, there were people shambling around, noises, but nothing particularly clear or coherent, and it was like I was on drugs, or I was super drunk or high, and they just kind of were warped and distorted, or I could only remember them doing things 3 minutes late. It was like all the time around me just blurring into absolute nothingness. And then I woke up, finally, fully awake, curious as to why I was surrounded by 4 or 5 zombies, and yet they weren't attacking me. They weren't coming for me at all. I was actually okay. I wasn't hurting anymore. I wasn't wet, and then I realized I actually wasn't feeling much of anything, and I sat there and I thought about it, and oh my god, I'm choking, and then wait, I'm not breathing. I don't need to breathe. This isn't good. People need air, right? And it finally sinks in that I'm dead, that I died, that I was right, that I did die in a lonely, dark subway all by myself, and that was the end. Yet I was still conscious. I wasn't one of these mindless things around me, or was I? I sat there and I thought for a little longer, and I realized the only thing that I could feel, the only physical sensation left, was one of hunger. Lots of hunger. I was really, really hungry, and when I thought about what I wanted to eat, the only thing that came to mind was blood and soft bits. Not gristle, not brain, not the hard part, just the soft, squishy bits on the inside. Really, really hungry. The hunger was my primary and only motivation to get up, which was a very weird feeling, mind you, that I knew that I was getting up. I could feel my body moving. I could feel the resistance, kind of like you can in a dream, but I really couldn't feel it as well as I should have. I felt like it was under anesthesia, like everything was slightly delayed, or it never really had the right amount of feeling. But I realized, I'm dead, but I'm hungry. I need to get some people to eat. I need to get some food in me. Damn it, I'm a zombie and I'm starving. So we go and look. Well, the train blocks one end of the tunnel. Seems like the end that we thought was parked a few segments down was actually crashed, and there's no way I'm going to be able to get past that. On the other end, there's a barricade of some sort. The stairs that I and the rest of the group once came in on is now collapsed and covered with dust. I have no idea how long I've been down here at this point, but it must have been a very, very long time. And the maintenance store. Oh yes, let's wander back to the maintenance store. So strange that the zombies don't come for me now. I guess I'm one of them. They don't think I'm a threat or definitely not anything worth eating. Wander back to the maintenance door and find out that we barricaded it too well, that there's just too much crap in front of it, and I don't have the physical strength in me to move it. It's going nowhere, and I don't even care anymore. You think depression is a word, you think depression is bad, you've got a hard life, you're having a hard time, that you've really reached the end of your rope. Well, I've really reached the end of my rope here, and I wander around this area looking, wandering, waiting. I do see some sort of ladder or vertical maintenance tunnel above the train that's near me, but there's no way to reach it. It's so high in the air. It's like an upward hatch, like a reverse sewer. No way in or out, no stacking, no climbing, no tools. Not that I was super coordinated or able to do it anyway, but it was just going nowhere, and I was stuck down here. I wandered for a while thinking, trying to get creative, digging, prying, banging, just trying to get out. None of the zombies paid me much hindrance at all. Perhaps if I stepped in front of them, they would recognize there was an obstacle and just walk around it. This was hell for me, trapped alone in this dark subway where I could barely see anything, full of the undead, me being dead and not being able to feel anything. And the depression really sank in, and I realized that I was going to be stuck here until the very end of time, until I rotted and there was nothing left. So I walked back to the maintenance room where I had previously died, sat down in my old, now dry pile of blood, and I went to sleep again, I guess. Zombies don't really sleep. I sat there for so long and stared into empty space until the days became months and the months maybe became years. I lost track of time and everything blurred together. Then awakening to a crash, something loud. Footsteps, scuttling, people talking. Something's coming down here. Food. Yes, food is coming. I can hear them. They must have come in through the top. They must have kicked in that ladder I couldn't reach. I wonder if that means there's a rope, if there's a way out, if there's some way to get me out of this hole and maybe get some lunch on the way. The only thing that I had thought that I'd forgotten about while I was sleeping was my hunger, but no, that's definitely still there. And I know what they're going to do. They're going to sweep the subway the same way we did. They're going to look for food, they're going to look for supplies, and they're going to run into more or less the same problems, except in the maintenance area, it's just going to be me sitting down. And that's exactly what happens. I hear them move through the train area. A couple of gunshots. That's good. These people are well armed. They're smart. My group didn't have guns. We just had some melee weapons. But they've got guns. That also makes them more dangerous. Should I just sit here and pretend to be very dead and not a zombie, or should I attack them anyway? But I am very hungry, after all. And I hear them run past the maintenance tunnel, now being chased by a horde. And they're going to, no, not the maintenance room, and they're going to go and open the hatch that had 100 behind it. They're going to go to try and cross over into the other tunnel. I hear them start moving some stuff out of the way, but then turn and shoot as a large amount of footsteps starts moving forward. And I notice they're not shooting much, very conservative kind of shots. And this is my opportunity when I realize they're low on ammo, that they have guns, but they don't have a lot. So I rise and I stand, and because I'm a thinking zombie and I'm a little bit smarter than the rest of my, lesser-minded brethren, I bring my bat with me, the same good old wooden bat that I had before, and when I walk into the very back of the group of zombies. Probably 30 of them have their backs facing me, and they're advancing on this group of people that are now trying to defend themselves with melee weapons, and they're saying to save the bullets for yourselves. I look at this group, and their faces aren't particularly important. They don't look like anybody special until I see the girl. There's a female with this group. Long black hair, brown eyes, medium build, fairly athletic, dressed in black combat gear. They're all dressed in black gear. Were they SWAT members? Are they government agents? Are they somebody important? Or did they just kill somebody important and take all their guns? I don't really know, but I really like this girl. She's really pretty. Am I having feelings? I thought I was dead, but I'm hungry. Ooh, I could eat her. I bet that would be great. Pretty you can make a pun on eating her out or that sort of stuff. Look around at the rest of the group, and I can briefly see a man with blonde hair and blue eyes, medium build. There's a large Spanish-looking fellow, very large, built like a wrestler, and then a short but squat bulldog-type guy, kind of bald, kind of old. I'd call him a tank of the group, a little bruiser if you've ever, a bulldog, or a little bowling ball body type if you've ever played American football. And they're fighting, desperately struggling. The female actually at the forefront of the group, and that's when I realize she's being surrounded, that her time is done. So this would be the perfect time for me to move in and strike and get some food, to get something in my system. And I walked forward, dragging the bat on the ground just like another Zed. And that's when I realized I don't actually want to eat. Do I want to help? I mean, these are people. Maybe there's a cure for me. Maybe there's hope for the future. Maybe this girl will go out with me? No, that's crazy. I'm literally rotting. I think my penis fell off years ago. But there's something that I want to do, and the girl is getting surrounded, and just as one zombie is about to reach out and grab her hair, I take the bat and smash it in the back of the head as hard as I possibly can and smear brains everywhere. She doesn't even notice me. The blonde man is the second in the group. He's about to get overrun, so I smash another one. He hears the noise and turns around. He notices me. And about the same time, the rest of the group begins to realize they're not alone in this tunnel, and I decide I'm not ready to reveal myself yet, but I do want them to live. I want them to get me out of this hellhole, and I'd kind of like to go on a date, though that's an unrealistic expectation. I'm going to have to try really hard not to just get shot in the face. Moving faster than I thought my undead body would allow, I sidestep through the zombies, smashing them with the bat over and over and over and over, or perhaps I cripple one or smash one against the wall and fling it back toward the other four so they can finish it off very, very easily. The whole time I try to stay out of the light, keep my back to them. My zombie brothers don't attack me because, again, I'm not a threat, nor am I food. I might as well be an inanimate object, which makes this very, very easy for me to do. At most, they look at me with surprise when I move in front of them or swing at them. Sometimes I think they weren't expecting it. Sometimes maybe they just didn't know why there was a wall in front of them with a bat. At the end of all the fighting, after I've tripped the last Zed and smashed its head on the ground, I stand once more with my back facing the group. I'm mostly in the shadows, but they can see me from the legs down, maybe a little bit part of the brown leather jacket that I was wearing, but definitely not the head, not the face, not anything. And they're shocked, they're surprised. The larger Spanish fellow reaches out with a greeting, saying, "We didn't know that anyone else was alive down here." And I, knowing that I am clearly not alive and not what they think I am, I need to answer carefully, yet I am kind of a natural troll, and I do like being somewhat theatrical. I go to speak, but realize I can't speak. There's no words coming. Oh wait, I forgot. I need air to speak. I haven't been breathing for a long time. I hope I still have my lungs, so like a dead man taking his last breath, or a dying man, mind you, taking his last breath, I take a big breath in. And in an undead voice, which probably wasn't very pleasant, all I can answer is, "There isn't." Something like that, but my answer was there isn't anyone still alive down there. And there was a short, awkward pause, a couple of questions from everyone in the group. What do you mean there's nobody alive? Are you okay? Are you a crazy person? Is something wrong here? And I just simply don't say anything, but turn slowly. They still can't see me but from the feet down, but they're starting to make out some details that something isn't quite right, and step forward into the little bit of light that they have. And that's when they realize they are looking at a walking, talking zombie that just saved their lives, and something very frightening is happening in their brains. Not only are they realizing they were saved by the enemy, but perhaps there's a smarter, more dangerous enemy out there. Perhaps what they thought was the threat wasn't really the threat at all, or perhaps they think I'm friendly, I don't know, but immediately 4 guns pointed at me. I know they don't have many bullets and they don't want to shoot me, but I am probably the most threatening thing they've ever seen in their lives, but I did just save them and I'm communicating. What in the hell is going on here? I would be scared too if I was in their port. Lots of screaming, lots of questions. What are you? Are you friendly? What the fuck? Just shoot it. Just shoot it. No, don't shoot it. I'm ordering you not to shoot it. You don't order me. This is bullshit. I want to live. We're going to shoot it, not shoot it. And I turn and I lock eyes with the girl, who's one of the few that's not actually screaming or doing anything, but she definitely has her gun pointed right at my head. And I do know one thing about zombies like myself. If I get a bullet between the eyes, I am definitely dead twice. I already died once. I've only got 1 life left, and I want to live it. I want to cure myself. I want to at least not spend my life in this hell of a tunnel. I'm still very hungry. I would like to eat them, but I know that's not the right thing to do, so maybe I'll just eat them later. Maybe just not right now. And They both point the guns at me and they ask me who I am, and the only answer I can give, taking in another long, deep breath, is friendly. I'm friendly. That's all I can say, and they look totally bewildered, lost, and confused, but the man in charge, the blonde man with blue eyes, gives the order to lower the guns, and so they do. End of part 1. I'll see you in part 2 and we'll continue the story. Let me know if you enjoyed it.